Today we are at the Olympic and Paralympic Museum. My name is Noah Elliott. I am a Paralympic snowboarder. I compete in snowboard cross and bank slalom.
And my name is Yahir Chairez-Salazar. I'm a college wrestler at Colorado School of Mines, and I'm here to get a tour by Noah.
But all the torches are so cool, man.
Yeah, like coming in here, I was just like, dude, Snoop Dogg held one.
Right, right.
Leading into my sophomore year, I was hanging around the wrong people and doing the wrong things, doing things that I shouldn't have been doing. And one night on my way back home from Denver, going back to Greeley from where I'm from, and we ended up getting in a rollover car accident, and I was flung from the back seat out the front windshield and was transported to UCHealth Anschutz to receive care. They tried to save my leg for several hours, and it was completely mangled, so they weren't able to do anything with it, and unfortunately I had to amputate my leg above the knee. I was lost, full ride scholarship, two-sport athlete, and not knowing what was next.
Have you tried running yet at all?
I've tried a little bit.
Yeah.
Like, I haven't really fully done it, but I've been able to get to the part where I'm stepping and hopping and being able to land and catch myself.
Are we gonna try to race this right now?
All right.
Okay, let's try not to fall.
Yeah, I know.
Go. Thank you.
Yeah. 3 days later, my head coach came in there and promised everybody that I was gonna come back and be a wrestler again. And that was exciting because I had a goal in mind. I wasn't just gonna sit there and relive the same day over and over and over again.
Every game is completely different. They try to make something that's meaningful to wherever the games are held at that venue. And these are the real ones I told you about that you could shake and it would make it sound.
I can definitely see why you need a tour.
Yeah.
I just continuously gained this inspiration to continue going. And once I finally hit the ground running, I was just excited because I got the chance to be able to do something that's never been done, and that's possibly win a D2 national championship as an above-the-knee amputee. So have that goal in mind, and we're looking forward to it.
So this is my teammate Mike Schultz's leg. This is his actual setup. I remember being on the road and seeing him put this on multiple times to go compete against him. So I was thinking about you too, because I know you're obviously going to fluctuate in weight. You probably have a bulking season and probably have a cut season. Truly in the gym, dude, imagine doing leg presses with that. You probably do single leg, that's what I do.
Yeah.
But still just to have the option and have the flexibility of that thing really goes a long way.
That's crazy because now I'm gonna be able to snatch, if I ever get the chance to get that, knee.
Yeah.
As an athlete, we have to strength condition, right? And do single leg stuff. Well, I have to strengthen this.
Yeah.
Because you never know when I'm gonna have to use it at some point.
Yeah. And then I brought you something that you'll actually get to see in the museum today, but you weren't gonna be able to hold it. This is my gold medal that I won in 2018. And I wanted you to be able to experience actually holding it and feeling it and getting that experience.
Yeah.
So I wanted to bring this out and share this with you.
Dude, it's
cool.
The energy, I already felt the energy when you pulled that out. I was just dude, I know as an athlete, what it takes to get this, right?
For sure.
And I've never felt that before, right?
Yeah.
But just holding this is just
When I got the opportunity to actually read your story, I was like, dude, this guy seems so cool. And I was like, the opportunity to get to meet you, I was really excited about. And then actually meeting you, I'm like, dude, this guy is awesome. Even for people that aren't adaptive or disabled or anything, you're gonna be able to completely change their perspective on what they thought possible, which is amazing. Those are the people that we need out there showing what you can do, It's awesome.
I appreciate you saying that, just because that's essentially what I've always, that's kind of what my motto has always been, is just keep being you.